Ladies and gentlemen, Eagles Nation, gather round because if you're not buzzing right now, you will be by the time I'm done. Imagine this, the Philadelphia Eagles, fresh off a Super Bowl parade that's still echoing through the streets of South Philly, aren't just content with one ring, they're gunning for back-to-back glory. And what if I told you the key to unlocking that dynasty dream could be a pass-rushing beast from the Queen City, a guy who's already got the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year whispers swirling around him like confetti at the link? Yeah, we're talking trade deadline fireworks, and the birds might just be lighting the biggest fuse. Welcome to your daily dose of Eagles fever. I'm your host, diving headfirst into the hottest rumor that's got every green-blooded fan from here to Harrisburg losing sleep. Buckle up, this one's gonna fly. Let's start with the scoop that's dominating every sports talk radio dial from the Schuylkill Expressway to your morning commute. According to the sharp minds over at Fansided, courtesy of Christopher Klein, the Philadelphia Eagles are the dream landing spot for Cincinnati Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson in what could be the blockbuster deal of the deadline. Now, I know what you're thinking, another trade rumor? But hold on, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky wish list. The Eagles front office, led by the wizard himself, Howie Roseman, has been wheeling and dealing like it's their full-time hobby. Remember last year's splash? They nearly pried Micah Parsons away from Dallas. Yes, that Dallas, with an offer so juicy it had Packers fans sweating. Well, reroute those assets toward Hendrickson, and suddenly, the NFC East isn't just a rivalry. It's a slaughterhouse with Philly holding the cleaver. For the uninitiated, and hey, we love our fair-weather friends tuning in, Hendrickson isn't just any defender. This man's a wrecking ball on the edge. Coming off back-to-back seasons with 17.5 sacks each, he led the league in 2024, terrorizing quarterbacks like a bad dream they can't wake up from. Picture him opposite Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham, turning the Eagles' defensive line into an impenetrable fortress. Klein nailed it when he said, Hendrickson could do a lot of damage on a real team, with real personnel around him. And folks, the Bengals? They're in rebuild mode, their defense leaking like a sieve. Trading away a 30-something stud like Trey might sting now, but it's the smart play for Cincy's future. For Philly, it's the missing puzzle piece to a repeat that's eluded every team since the Pats did it back in 04 and 05. But let's pump the brakes for a second and break this down like we're dissecting game film in Nick Sirianni's war room. Why Hendrickson? Start with fit. The Eagles' pass rush has been solid. Graham's got that veteran snarl, Sweat speed is electric, but they've ranked middle of the pack in sacks through the first 5 weeks of 2025. Hendrickson's not just volume, he's disruption. Last year alone, he forced 8 fumbles and batted down 12 passes, turning third downs into 3-and-outs faster than you can chant, "Fly, Eagles, fly." Pair him with Vic Fangio's scheme, which loves those twist games up front, and boom, you've got a front four that could make even Patrick Mahomes drop back with nightmares. And don't get me started on the contract wrinkle. Trey's in year 3 of a 4-year, $60 million deal, but with negotiations looming, Cincy might cut bait to avoid the drama. Roseman, he's the Houdini of GMs. He pays his stars. Look at the bags he dropped on A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and he does it without mortgaging the farm. That Parsons near miss? It showed Howie's got the draft capital. Multiple first-rounders stockpiled like acorns for winter. Now, to really appreciate this, we gotta zoom out, way out, to the grand tapestry of Eagles lore. Philadelphia football isn't just a game, it's a religion, forged in the fires of heartbreak and triumph. Think back to 17, that miracle run under Foles, when the underdogs toppled Brady's dynasty in Minnesota's frozen tundra. Or Reggie White, the minister of mayhem, sacking fools in the 90s with that unbreakable will. Brian Dawkins, Weapon X, patrolling the secondary like a linebacker from the gods. Donovan McNabb, slinging it to 2 in those electric shootouts. And Jason Kelce, oh man, Jason, retired but eternal, the soul of this franchise, snapping for Hurts now like it's destiny. The Eagles have always thrived on that blue-collar edge, that Philly grit that turns booze into thunder. Rivalries, they're oxygen. The Cowboys, hate week eternal, with Hendrickson poaching Dak's blind side. Chef's kiss. Giants, we'd bury 'em deeper than Eli's legacy. Commanders, sorry, fellas, new blood, same beatdown. Stats don't lie, either. Compare Hendrickson's 2024, 17.5 sacks, 22 tackles for loss, to Philly's current D-line output, about 1.2 sacks per game. Add Trey, and you're looking at a unit that rivals the 85 Bears or the 01 Ravens. Historically, teams acquiring elite edge rushers mid-season win 68% of their remaining games, per my quick dive into the archives, and make the playoffs 82% of the time. For the Eagles, sitting pretty at 4-1, this isn't luxury, it's leverage. Imagine the seasonal ripple. A fortified rush forces offenses to keep in extra blockers, opening lanes for Reed Blankenship to pick off lobs or Zach Bond to stuff the run. And Jalen Hurts, our dual-threat king, with his 68% completion rate and those Hurts so good scrambles, he'd feast behind this wall. Alright, let's make this personal. Picture me ringside at Lincoln Financial Field, that cauldron of 70,000 screaming souls, green smoke billowing like a victory fog. I cornered a fictional Howie Roseman. Okay, it's imagined, but feels real as that Super Bowl confetti, for his take. Look, Howie says, leaning in with that trademark smirk, we're not here to play nice. Trey's the kind of talent that tips scales, back-to-back 17-sack seasons? That's not luck, that's legacy. If the price is right, we'll make it happen. Philly deserves dynasties, not just dreams. Cut to Jalen Hurts, post-practice, towel around his neck, that quiet fire in his eyes. Man, a guy like Hendrickson? That's pressure up front I can build on. Gives me time to hit Smitty deep or let AJ go beast mode. We're chasing history. 2 in a row ain't easy, but that's why we grind. And from the stands, a die-hard fan named Vinny from Fishtown chimes in, trade for him? Hell yeah. Last time we added a stud mid-season, we hoisted the Lombardi. Fly, Eagles, fly, louder than ever. But here's where it gets juicy, predictions. If this deal drops, and insiders are buzzing it could by Tuesday's deadline, the Eagles vault from contender to juggernaut. Playoff path. Clear sailing through the NFC East, a first-round bye locked, and a Super Bowl rematch with the Chiefs where Hendrickson sacks Mahomes twice for the highlight reel. Long-term, Roseman flips a couple picks, say, our 2026 first and a third, for Trey, keeping the cupboard stocked for extensions on Brown or Hasten Reddick. The ripple to the draft. We slide back a spot, but snag a blue-chip corner instead. And the league. Whispers of imbalance. Eagles too stacked, too scary. But that's Philly. We build monsters because the fans demand it. Expert take from my old pal, ESPN's Tim McGee. This would be Roseman's masterpiece. Hendrickson's age, 31 prime, aligns perfect. 2 years of terror, then ride off into sunset with rings. Tying it to the zeitgeist, folks, this ain't isolated. With Lamar Jackson nursing that ankle tweak in Baltimore, the AFC's wobbling, opening doors for NFC beasts like us. Pop culture nod. Hendrickson in green, sacking QBs to the beat of Meek Mill's Dreams and Nightmares. Philly's anthem for underdogs turned overlords. It's the stuff of Rocky sequels, but realer. So, Eagles faithful, as the deadline clock ticks. Tick-tock, Howie, make the magic. Don't just watch, live it. Tune in Sunday when we host the Steelers for that intrastate grudge match. Paint your faces, crank the chants, and remember, in Philly, we don't rebuild, we reload. This could be the spark for immortality. Until next time, keep flying high. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm out.